everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I decided to do a deep dive on a TV series that I used to watch when I was little called Wow Wow Wubbzy. Anyways, let's get into the video. So to start off the video, I'm going to do a little summary on the show for those of you who don't know. Wow Wow Wubbzy is an animated show that aired on Nick Jr. in 2006 through 2010 about a yellow creature. I guess people are still unsure on what he is. I don't know what he is either. Anyways, his name is Wubbzy, who is energetic, curious, and playful, who loves to play kickball, and has a bendy tail, who is the main character of the show, who is friends with a pink rabbit named Widget, who is smart, creative, and loves building gadgets, even though they go wrong a lot. Daisy, who is a sweet Karen dog, which I honestly did not know she was a dog, but can see that, who loves flowers and plants, and Walden, a purple bear, so he is. I actually always wondered what he was, who is calm, thoughtful, and considered the most intelligent in the friend group, who loves history, science, and reading. They all live in a town called Wubbzy, which is a bright, whimsical town full of curvy buildings, fun machines, and playful landscapes. He and his friends spend the episodes exploring their town and going on adventures and learn life lessons. Wubbzy is super energetic, curious, and playful, like I mentioned. Acts first, thinks later, loves games, adventures, and being with friends. His favorite game being kickball, which I guess kind of seems like a soccer like game, kind of like soccer. They just for some reason call things kickball, pippity popcorn. I don't know, they just had weird names for things. Optimistic and fearless, very loyal, and learns from mistakes. Walden is calm, gentle, and thoughtful, loves books, music, and learning. Slightly anxious, but very caring. Slightly anxious. Dude was like stressing out half the episodes. And I don't blame him. Smart problem solver, good at explaining ideas clearly, helps friends slow down and think. Widget, confident, inventive, and determined, loves building and fixing things, can be stubborn when she has a plan. I think we should add that to Walden. They fight all the time because they both have different plans. Persistent and resourceful, great leadership skills. Miss Girl, literally, I'm pretty sure machines explode half the time, and half the time encourages Wubbzy's bad behavior. I don't know if great leadership skills is the right word for her, but okay, Google. We'll go with that. Yes, I'm reading off Google for some of these. Daisy, sweet, gentle, and nurturing, loves plants and animals and helping others, very patient and kind, emotionally supportive, encourages teamwork. Yeah, I would say those personalities fit them for the most part. Anyways, now we're gonna get into my own words. Now we're gonna talk about themes in some episodes. Starting off with the episode A Little Help from My Friend. When Widget and Walden keeps helping Wubbzy, Wubbzy starts to get annoyed, feeling he doesn't need any help. So Wubbzy decides he was going to try to prove to Widget and Walden that he can do things on his own and doesn't need help. So he decides to invite them over for dinner and makes them a doodleberry cake, but then he adds way too much baking powder, causing the cake to rise a lot and causes a whole mess around town. And in the end, Widget and Walden help Wubbzy keep the town free from becoming covered in cake batter. And Wubbzy learns that asking for help and accepting it makes things better and more. The episode teaches kids it's okay to ask for help. Problem solving is also another theme that the show talks about, such as which is Wild Ride. In this episode, Wubbzy wants to enter the Wubbzy road racer rally, and his road racer is busted up, so he asks Widget to fix it for him. She starts off making it look newer and better, but then she keeps making it more and more crazier to the point when Wubbzy goes to race it, it breaks down. But then they find out the machine can fly, and so Widget and Walden goes to help Wubbzy win the race, and when they get close to the finish line, Wubbzy decides he'd rather fly around Wubbzy with his friends again and have fun with them rather than win the race. Widget gets carried away and realizes that trying to make the road racer bigger and better, she ruined Wubbzy's chance of winning instead of helping him, and realizes her mistakes and learns that mistakes are part of learning, which is the problem solving / lesson. Creativity and imagination is also another theme it discusses. You gotta have art as an example. The friends explore different ways of making art and learning there's no single right way to be creative. Dash for Dolly is another one. Wubbzy tries to find the perfect present for Widget, and while Wubbzy was trying to think of the perfect gift, Widget finds a hammer and dolly she really likes at the store, but Wubbzy doesn't have enough money for it, so he tries to make her a customized one but feels it's not good enough. Then he goes to the arcade to try to win it in the claw machine, but keeps grabbing a different prize, and then when him him and Walden went to go get more tokens, Moo the magician, but when he placed the Moo saw the hammer and Holly Dolly and decided to play the claw machine, and he won the hammer and Holly Dolly. And Walden and Wubbzy, when they come back, realizes the hammer and Holly Dolly is gone and that Moo won it. So Walden and Wubbzy tried to chase Moo down to ask him if they could trade their other prizes for the hammer and Holly Dolly and go through a whole lot. And by the time they get to Moo, he's already given it to a little girl who seems like it's like his daughter or niece or something. I don't know who she is to him, but it was some little girl. And because of how happy she was, they didn't want to take it from the little girl and runs out of time to get Widget a birthday gift. Then at the end, Widget finds the homemade hammer and Holly Dolly Wubbzy made earlier, and she loves it and says that she loves homemade gifts, and Wubbzy discovers that thoughtful homemade gifts are more meaningful than bought. Emotions and self-control are another topic that the show talks about, as such as too much of a doodle thing. In this episode, Wubbzy is eating doodleberries and loves them a lot, to the point where he runs out, first just goes to the store to buy more, but then the store doesn't have any. His friends try suggesting other food options for Wubbzy to eat instead, but Wubbzy refuses, saying he only eats doodleberries, and his friends warn him, "Be careful, Wubbzy, or you might just turn into a doodleberry." And Wubbzy takes, like he usually does, what they say literal, and says, "Nope, I'm still Wubbzy," and then goes to Daisy's house to ask for some doodleberry seeds. And Daisy gives him some doodleberry seeds and some magic growth spray to make it grow faster, and tells him to only use a teeny tiny bit, but of course Wubbzy doesn't listen and sprays way more than needed, covering his whole yard with doodleberry bushes. So him and his friends decide to a doodleberry parade, and when the parade is over, Wubbzy decides to toss the spray to Daisy and spills it all over town, and then his friends think to collect all the doodleberries and feed it to the dinosaurs on Dino Island too as a solution, and Wubbzy learns to try new things, which teaches kids while it's okay to eat your favorite food, trying new foods is good too. Wubbzy in the middle. In this episode, Walden and Widget get into a heated argument after Widget's handy helper 3000 machine creates a massive mess in Walden's house, which I mean valid. I remember he was like, the machine was like throwing his books around and stuff, and he has a lot of books. Like, I gotta take a while to clean up and organize, so I'd be a little mad too for sure. And Walden becomes extremely frustrated and overwhelmed when the machine begins throwing his beloved books everywhere, leading to an argument between him and Widget, which I mean, valid. They were kind of both valid, because I mean, Widget was just trying to help, but Walden has the right to be upset, focuses on resolving conflict and regaining composure. It gently demonstrates how to handle overwhelming emotions by Walden and Widget, initially separating themselves to calm down. Wubbzy attempts to reunite them, showing the importance of patience and friendship. And Widget and Walden put their feelings aside to help Wubbzy when he floats away with balloons, demonstrating that cooperation and letting go of anger are the best ways to solve problems. The show also talks about self-expression and to be yourself. An example of this is Mr. Cool. Walden feels pressured and overwhelmed trying to be quote-unquote cool for a party, eventually learning to stay true to himself and remaining calm by the end of the episode. Woozy Walden is sick and with chickenitis, which makes him cluck like a chicken, I guess, and becomes overwhelmed when Daisy and Wubbzy's chaotic attempts to help him get better actually make him feel worse. The episode teaches the importance of rest and quiet as calming techniques. In other words, the topics that are discussed are good because the problems are small and relatable and not high stakes. Conflicts resolve quickly and safely. Characters model mistakes without shame. Lessons are repeated across episodes in slightly different ways, which this is all good because this mirrors how young children can actually learn through repetition and modeling and emotional safety, which is how a lot of kids learn, especially for what the age group is targeting, preschoolers. Characters clearly name feelings. I feel frustrated, I'm worried, that makes me happy, which this is good and matters because preschoolers often feel emotions before they can label them, and the show provides vocabulary and context. Walden models anxiety and calming strategies. Widget makes mistakes and finds ways to solve her problems, teaching kids it's okay to make mistakes. Wubbzy models impulsivity and learning self-control, and Daisy models empathy and reassurance. This teaches kids that big feelings are normal and calming down is a skill, not a punishment. Examples of impulse control for Wubbzy, like I mentioned at the start of the video, Wubbzy often acts before thinking, Consequences are mild but clear. Reflection happens naturally, not through lecturing, which also supports waiting and turn taking. And some of the other topics the show talks about is we're all different in our own way, discussed in the episode Everything Comes Up Wubbzy. Sharon, shown in the episode What a Card. It's more important to have fun than to win. Rump of fun. There's plenty of more lessons how Wubbzy teaches kids, and I love how they do it in a fun way without being too, like, in your face or annoying. Sure, maybe the wows I get a little annoying at times, but I mean, it's called Wow Wubbzy. You gotta expect him to say his famous line. Come on. But on top of fun episodes that teaches kids important lessons, there are also songs after each episode. Why does this matter? All kids shows have songs. It matters because repetitiveness helps lessons stick with kids, and simple lyrics match preschool learning skills. Songs model emotional regulation and social behavior, and music keeps episodes engaging without being overwhelming, and helps the lesson stick more to children. I think little me, when I was younger, having more energy than I do now, favored shows like Wow Wubbzy, Dora, Jack's Big Music Show, and Oswald, and shows like that, because I didn't fully understand the messages like I do now and what they were trying to teach kids, but they still did it in like a fun way and still had bright colors to keep kids entertained and keep their attention span. Like, I remember watching those shows for like hours when I was younger, but they still taught kids important lessons, even ones that nowadays a lot of kids shows are too free to talk about, in fear of backlash from parents and not being a quote-unquote appropriate for children. But I guess every generation has their own shows they grow up with, and it is meant for little kids, not teens or adults. So I guess as long as the kids enjoy it, it's whatever. Just wish they talked about more topics like they used to. While they're little kids, they won't really understand until they're older. They will start to pick up on it as they grow and learn important lessons. But like I said, it's whatever, I guess. And plus, I haven't watched any recent kids shows, only some of them because of TikTok. I guess Bluey is like a really popular one that even grown-ups like. So that pops up on my For You page sometimes, and only and some other ones because the kids I babysit like to watch them. Anyways, to wrap up deep dive, here's some why wow and why wow. Anyways, to sum up the deep dive, here is why Wow Wubbzy works for kids. Lastly, to wrap up this deep dive, I'm gonna explain as to why Wow Wubbzy works for kids. Kids learn cause and effect. If I push this, then da da da. For example, simple engineering, building, fixing, and redesigning. Prediction, what do you think will happen? Critical mistakes are part of the process, not something to avoid. Age-appropriate, short, simple stories for preschoolers. Attention span, repetitiveness, reinforces the learning through recurring characters and songs. Engaging humor, music, and bright visuals maintain interest. Safe experiments. Characters try, fail, and succeed in low-stakes scenarios. Parent/educationer friendly, easy to discuss lessons and reinforce outside of the show if, you're a teacher and want to teach your kids some important lessons, or if you're a teacher or parent or adult or guardian, you can help your kids learn the lesson. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this little deep dive in this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. See you guys in my next one.